Coming up, a shortfall in schools, how the Brazos Valley is trying to keep teachers in the classroom. And shots fired in the SEC. Coach Saban taking a shot at this year's Aggie recruiting class. Coach Fisher not staying silent. Ahead, more reaction on campus. Your Krhd News starts right now.
Connecting the Brazos Valley. This is Krhd News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Garrett Hoddle. We're now into a full week in the search for Gonzalo Lopez, the escaped convict who commandeered and crashed a prison transport bus in Centerville. Krhd reporter Rebecca Fiedler is bringing us the latest from the scene.
Being respectful of any law enforcement road closures, I was able to travel the county roads just northwest of the media staging area in Centerville. The perimeter in the search for Gonzalo Lopez has changed as of today.
Though TDCJ has blocked access to major highways in the area, we found no police around to stop vehicles traveling onto County Road 317 from the I-45 access road. So we kept going. A few miles in, we spoke to a resident in a neighborhood just a few miles northwest of the Redland community.
Day one, I wasn't really, I didn't think he could get this far on foot, really. We're a couple miles and there's a lot of dense woods. He wouldn't come here.
She says her husband has only been stopped by police once when driving along 317 this past week, and her family feels safe. Eventually, law enforcement did stop our news vehicle as we ventured further west and turned us around. Not once were we stopped by police prior to that, nor did we see any officers, signs, or barriers to entry.
We are going to change up our strategy just a little bit in the search. Can't go into too much in the way of specifics, but we are going to kind of move our search teams into a different part of the area.
TDCJ say they still believe Gonzalo Lopez is in the area.
We are positive that we will find him and get him back into custody.
Residents like Araby say they are grateful for the hard work law enforcement officers are putting in, but she says she isn't seeing a lot of them near her place.
I don't rely on them for my protection, honestly. The law will do what they're going to do, and I'm responsible for my safety. So,
when speaking with media early this afternoon, TDCJ did note that there was no suspicious activity regarding the transport of Gonzalo Lopez between Gatesville and Huntsville. And they clarified that this meant there was not a suspicious vehicle following the bus. Reporting in Centerville, Rebecca Fiedler, Krhd News.
It's a problem we see statewide and even here locally in the Brazos Valley, a staffing shortage in schools. Krhd News reporter Diamond Dixon is speaking with a local band director to hear how he's going to help make a difference.
The TEA announced 24 additional teachers will join the teacher vacancy task force, including Cody Knott, the band director at Caldwell High School.
Knott was selected out of over 1,500 teachers and administrators to serve on the task force.
I'm excited to be on the task force so I can work with other educators across the state to help recruit and retain good teachers for all students across the state of Texas.
The teacher vacancy force will meet bi-monthly and have their first meeting at the beginning of June to tackle teacher shortages.
Knott says he's looking forward to helping overcome teacher shortages here in Texas schools. In Caldwell, Diamond Dixon, Krhd News.
Rankings for 2022 are in, and Texas A&M is top of the list when it comes to best public college and affordability. In a new ranking by Money.com, they rank A&M as number one for public colleges and affordable colleges, and incoming Aggies say not only him, but his parents are looking forward for the cost of the next 4 years in Aggie land.
You know, I know college is just getting more and more expensive throughout the years, and I know there's a lot of people struggling with student loans, and it'd be great to get throughout college without any outstanding loans at the end of my degree.
Tonight at 6 p.m., our very own Chris Talley is speaking with an expert that helped conduct the criteria for these findings.
I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player.
Well, you heard it there. Alabama head coach Nick Saban making waves last night going after Texas A&M, implying they bought top-ranked players during recruiting season. Texas A&M ranked number 1 overall in the 2022 football recruit rankings, while Alabama was ranked at number 2. Saban citing name, image, and likeness deals as the reason for Aggie football's recruitment success. Meanwhile, head coach Jimbo Fisher not backing down this morning, coming to the defense of his players.
The way we do things, the ethics in which we do things, and these families, it's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous, but when he's not on top.
And Aggie fans we spoke to say Saban's comments are way out of line.
I think Saban is somewhat embarrassed that A&M has moved into the fold of the SEC and has taken on the pretty much the number 1 position now for all the recruits out there, to where most people want to come here now to play football. They see the promise that's here. Saban is a little bit embarrassed, so he's going to do anything to defend his posture.
The Aggies and Crimson Tide will face off later this year on Saturday, October 8th in Alabama. It's a story positively Brazos Valley. From the start of the year, the American Red Cross announced a national blood crisis, but one local mother witnessed it firsthand, and our KRHD News reporter Brittany DeFran is sharing her inspiring story.
The pandemic caused many issues, including a shortage of blood, which can easily put someone's life in jeopardy.
A lot of donors were falling ill. We were really seeing a decreased number of blood donors who were eligible or able to give.
Cancer patients are one community many people may not generally think need blood transfusions, but some patients need them more often than you think.
People go and donate blood. They think, oh, it's just going to go to like somebody who's in a car accident or whatever, and it's like, no, like there's a real need in the community.
Tune in at 6 to learn more about how you can help combat the issue. Reporting Brittany DeFran, KRHD News.
A number of consumer advocacy groups are warning about loans with interest rates of up to 189% that are available at national car repair chains that you know. The group sent letters this week to chains including Amco, Precision Tune Auto Care, Big O Tires, Midas, Grease Monkey, Jiffy Lube, and Meineke. They are urging them to stop offering financing through Easy Pay Finance, which runs the loans through Transportation Alliance Bank. The consumer groups found the 189% interest rates are being offered in states that have lower interest rate caps.
Banks are exempt from state interest rate limits. So predatory lenders sometimes find a rogue bank and launder the loan through the bank and call it a bank loan. So a company like Easy Pay Finance can't charge 189% directly in many states, but they are doing it by claiming that their loans are bank loans and are exempt from state law.
The loans promise no interest if paid in 90 days, but Lauren Saunders with the National Consumer Law Center says a lot of people aren't able to get that, then they're just stuck in these loans.
They're dealing with an auto repair that's expensive. They're not thinking about loans. They're handed a tablet and they're told to click here, or they're even asked to do it on their phone and try to read the fine print on a little 3-inch screen. Always make sure that you really see the whole contract.
The National Consumer Law Center advises if you have taken out one of these loans, opt out of the forced arbitration clause within 60 days. You can also file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and your state attorney general. Now, in response to us, Jiffy Lube says it has no relationship with Easy Pay Finance and has no knowledge of any of its franchisees working with them. The parent company of Midas and Big O Tires says Easy Pay Finance is one of several financing sources some franchisees choose to make available to their customers. Now, we didn't hear back from the other car repair chains. TAB Bank tells us any loan originated by the bank is regulated and monitored by the FDIC and the Utah Department of Financial Institutions, and that an unsecured and short-term loan could serve as a vital lifeline. A bill in Congress would cap interest rates nationally at 36% for all lenders, preventing loans like this in the future. Now to a difficult statistic. Pedestrian deaths just hit their highest number in 40 years. New federal data shows that drivers hit and killed nearly 7,500 people last year. That's a 12% increase from the year before. Main roads that are not highways, roads without sidewalks, and nighttime were the most dangerous for pedestrians.
Well, we made it to Thursday, Brazos Valley, and we're going to start off with our weather headlines to give you an idea of what to expect going forward. More near record heat is possible on Friday with those high temperatures in the mid to upper 90s. So a little bit more of the same, a rinse and repeat for today. Doesn't look like we hit that high temperature record here in the area for today, but we're going to be keeping an eye on it going forward into Friday and potentially even Saturday. Now, it's looking like there is going to be some potential for some scattered showers, maybe an isolated storm creeping in the mix tomorrow afternoon and for Saturday and Sunday. And then next week, at the moment, we're looking at a multi-day event where we're going to see waves of rain. Now, what does that mean? It means that we're not going to see rain 100% of the day, but it's going to come in waves, and we're going to see it over a multitude of days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not everyone's going to see rain all the time, but we're going to be keeping an eye on it going forward. And we'll show you that here on Future Track. An updated look at our drought monitor. Things are improving across the area. Our friends out west definitely still could use some of that rain that we're going to be detailing here in a second. But you'll notice across the Brazos Valley, things are looking a little bit better. Cameron, dry at the moment, but things are improving, at least here at home. Overall, lows overnight are going to land in the mid to lower 70s, and then we're going to see some of the change roll in as our next cold front begins to work into the area. Friday morning, you'll see cloud cover moving into the area. We'll get a little bit of a clear out, it looks like, towards lunchtime, and then there's that scattered chance for maybe a shower or two popping in the mix. You can see this here on our Future Track as we go into our Friday evening. Now, Saturday, there's going to be a little bit better chance, and we could see some showers, maybe even some storms. 10-day forecast has that chance detailed for you for the weekend. So what can you expect going forward? Well, those highs close to 98 and 97 degrees on Saturday, and then that cold front works in on Sunday. Take a look at those winds shifting from south to north, northeast 15 miles per hour, scattered showers possible. And then there's that multi-day event we're talking about, waves of rain moving into the area.
Staffing shortages and inflation are still hurting restaurants across the country, and now some are getting creative to succeed with fewer employees.
I'm Alexa Liacco. Eating out today looks a lot different than it did 2 years ago. There's often long waits to get a table and then an even longer wait to get your food. But with technology and a little innovation, some restaurants are learning how to beat the headaches caused by the staffing shortage.
We anticipate it being our busiest year yet.
It's a welcome sight. Tables full of friends, strangers chatting at the bar.
Really, when you leave your home, you're looking for that engagement and interaction with others. And we've definitely seen that has returned immensely in the last 6 months.
But even with record numbers of people eating out and 74% of the restaurants around the country reporting increased sales, restaurants are still struggling.
We've all had to get really creative. It's not uncommon to go into a restaurant and have your GM being the one that's running food and bussing tables because we have been so understaffed for so long.
Courtney Griffith runs the Catbird Hotel and Restaurant in Denver. It opened in the middle of the pandemic, so from the start, she had to run this space differently.
We're a 165-room hotel with a rooftop restaurant and bar that can accommodate up to 600 people in a day. We would normally operate with 75 to 100 employees, and we have been running with 25 to 40.
But how?
So you just scan this QR code, you see the red barber menu pops up.
Technology is the biggest help. At the restaurant, you order yourself and pay from your phone. There are no servers, just food runners.
So they're really able to focus on that guest interaction instead of the transactional interactions.
Next, all employees are trained to work every position.
Hired to kind of be well-rounded, and so you might come in for a breakfast attendant position, but you're also the concierge at the front desk or a food runner on the weekend for a banquet.
These changes have helped keep employees on and attract new workers.
I honestly prefer it just because I feel like that makes you more of a team player. You can kind of jump in, help whenever.
The team here is hoping other restaurants will follow this lead and make these pandemic changes permanent. Denise Mickelson of the Colorado Restaurant Association says it's already happening.
Technology is going to be more and more prevalent. I don't think paper menus are coming back necessarily, and I think that customers are going to be expected and also want to be a little bit more in charge of the experience that they have at restaurants, and tech allows for that.
And with changes for the customer come changes for workers too. Nationally, food service wages are up 10%, and more restaurants are offering benefits.
In the last couple of years, and we're talking everything from educational stipends to health and wellness support, and resources to medical insurance, vision, 401k. you name it.
These changes forced by the pandemic have been hard for many restaurants to overcome, but they're changes many in the service industry have been waiting for. Changes many think will make this industry better for years to come. I'm Alexa Liacco.
All right, Alexa, thank you. Now, we want to bring your attention to this. The U.S. Census Bureau says some states had pretty significant miscounts during the 2020 census. The 8 states in orange on this map we put together, including Ohio and New York, were overcounted, while the 6 states we have in green here, Texas and Florida included, they were undercounted. The information came out as part of a follow-up survey that the Census Bureau does. It does not affect things like congressional seats or electoral votes. Rising diesel prices are forcing some school districts to look for ways to cut costs. Growing number are turning to clean-burning propane for school buses. Usher Qureshi found out how it's saving money and the environment.
At the largest high school district in Illinois, 160 buses travel 7,000 to 12,000 miles each day. With surging costs, the transportation budget was bursting the bank.
We were looking for an alternative that would get us out of the diesel industry because maintenance costs were killing us, downtime was killing us.
Add to that the noxious fuel emissions seeping into the ventilation of the school, and administrators were looking for a cleaner alternative.
We really were interested in exploring options from an environmental standpoint, and we soon learned that the propane buses provided us those improvements.
The district is now running 51 propane school buses with a plan to go 100% propane by the end of the decade.
They are essentially emission-free. They're significantly less than our diesel buses.
The Biden administration recently earmarked $7 million to replace old diesel buses with zero-emission electric models, something Prusco considered.
I think it's too early to enter into the electric game because it's kind of new. We came into propane late, the 4th generation, and it's been working out wonderful.
Across the country in Phoenix, school facilities manager David Dillman considered electric buses as an alternative as well. But at nearly 4 times the upfront cost and the potential strain on the power grid, he opted for propane.
You have to really work with the local power company because it's like turning on a 20,000 square foot building as far as power consumption.
Right now, a fleet of 22,000 propane-powered school buses are running nationwide across 1,000 school districts in 49 states. That's expected to grow.
We've been able to take advantage of other grants that have been provided. We've received about $250,000 in rebates so far toward the purchase of our propane buses.
As part of the historic bipartisan infrastructure law, the U.S. EPA is providing an additional $5 billion over 5 years to replace existing school buses with clean and zero-emission models. The agency says it will begin taking applications for those rebates later this month. I'm Usher Qureshi reporting.
World News Tonight is just ahead, and we'll be right back here in 30 minutes for KRHD News at 6. Until then, have a great evening.